ओम श्री हरिम परमानंदम उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्. We are here today hopefully to conclude the study of Aporokshanubhuti. And as we have discussed earlier, and today you find it in the chat also, that from next week we shall have Atmabodha. Now, in Aparokshanubhuti, we had read up to Shlok 120. And the topic started in Shlok 100. Even before that, we were told about the full knowledge and we were told to practice that knowledge. After Shravan and Manan, Shravan gives us the concept, the dharana, some sort of experience. And Manan makes it form in our mind, removing all doubts. In spite of that, there are deeper bhoga sanskaras. And they go by nididhyasana, not by ordinary meditation. And nididhyasana has been defined properly as holding on to the Brahman, which you are already feeling, and rejecting the other thoughts therefrom. That is nididhyasana. Then in the shloka 100, we were told that this nididhyasana has to be practiced along with 15 parts of 15 steps of yoga. These steps include the 8 steps given by Patanjali, and 7 more have been given, 15 steps. Now the names are same as given by Patanjali, the 8 names, but the description is totally different. Patanjali's scheme mostly depends upon will, to apply our will, to concentrate the mind, will is applied. So here we find that, and that was called Raja Yoga by Patanjali. But here, these 15 steps are fully the application of the Advaita knowledge which you already have by Shravan and Manan. So the Advaita knowledge which you have by Shravan and Manan, on the basis of that, all these steps are to be undertaken. Yama, Niyama, and then 4 more were told, and then asana, 3 more were told, and pranayama. Up to this were read in shloka 120. Now we come to shloka 121. And that is the 4 remaining steps have to be told. Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So now pratyahara. Pratyahara means withdrawing. Pratyahara. Ahara means we eat something. Ahara means aryate iti ahara. What we take in is called ahara. Ahara is not only food. Whatever we take in through all the 5 senses or 10 senses or mind, through whatever channel we take in the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha of the objects of the world, we are continuously taking in. That is called ahara. Now, pratyahara means instead of the organs going out to take those things in, don't take those things in. Let the organs and the mind come back inside. That is pratyahara. Pratyahara literally means withdrawal, meaning that instead of going out to enjoy, instead of the instruments of the subject working on the object to enjoy, let the instruments come inside the subject. That is called pratyahara. Now, we see what Shankaracharya wants to tell about it. Visheshu atmatam drishtva manasah chiti majjanam Pratyaharaha sa vigyayo abhyasaniyo mumukshuvi visheshu atmatam drishtva. That means all the objects are nothing but Atman. That is how the Advaita is being applied. In Maya, that is due to wrong knowledge, we have split the reality into the subject and the objects. The subject and object split is in the realm of Maya. In the nature of Brahman, the split is not there. So what is there? We see Vishayas, but actually it is Atman only. Atman being one without a second, appears both as the subject and all the objects. Atman appears as the entire world, including the subject, in any way you can see. So, Vishayeshu, that means that which you are seeing as objects, Atmatam Drishtva, see that they are nothing but Atman, then what is happen? Then where the mind will go? Mind will not go to the objects because it is Atman only. So mind will come back into the Chaitanya. Mind will come back into the Atman. Manasa Chiti Majjanam. Majjanam means immersing. Majjanam means immersing the mind into Chaitanya. This is Pratyahara. So, not only withdrawal of the objects instead of going out, seeing that objects are not there, that is Atman only. So the mind does not go out. And then mind, because it says Atman only, so mind comes back to Chaitanya, which is Atman. That is called Vidnayo, that means that should be known as Pratyahara, and by the Mumukshus in the Nididhyasana stage, it should be practiced always, Abhyasaniyo. So Pratyahara has been defined as seeing Atman everywhere, and thus the mind does not go to objects because the subjecthood itself is not there. Subject-object split is not there. Everything is Atman. So it is easier to feel Atman within ourselves. So let the mind come within ourselves. Let the mind come back to the Chaitanya, which is Atman. Then comes Dharana. For comparison, we remember Patanjali defined dharana as deshabandha chittasya dharana. That means the mind, the peaceful mind should be fixed to some spot in space, whether inside the body or outside the body. Deshabandha, to the exclusion of other places, fix the mind at a place. But this is not at all the definition of Vedanta. Dharana means concept. Dharana is nothing but a sort of touch of experience of Atman. And normally it has already happened by Shravana. But now, in the 15 steps, when the Dharana comes, you see wonderful definition. Wonderful definition and indicates that Shankar is not only telling about Nirguna Brahman, but is talking of Saguna Brahma also. He is not telling only that Brahman is transcendental. He is telling Brahman is immanent also. Yatra yatra mano yati brahmanastatra darshanat manaso dharanam chaiva dharana sa paramata. Manaso dharanam. So, mind has to be held. You see, I told 2-3 meanings of dharana now. Dharana means concept that has already happened by Shravan. Again, the object dharana has come, and Patanjali is fixing the mind on some spot. That is one definition. Now, fixing the mind is accepted. Fixing the mind is accepted as dharana because the dharana, which is concept, has already come. So, when the dharana word again comes to be practiced along with nididhyasana, the definition is fixing the mind. Where? Let the mind go anywhere. But know that Brahman is there. Brahman being immanent, Brahman being all-pervading, Brahman being the reality of everything, and that has already entered our concept, that has become fixed by our Manan. So, at the stage of Nididhasan, see that everywhere Brahman only. That is the fixing of the mind. Fixing of the mind, manaso dharanam chaiva, manaso dharanam, holding the mind or fixing the mind. How? By darshan, by experiencing, by feeling that wherever the mind goes, it is Brahman only. So, at the stage of Nididhasan, such a freedom is given in fixing the mind. We need not fix the mind to a particular spot. That is already happening. We are not fixing to a spot. We are fixing to all-pervading Brahman, which we are seeing inside the heart. Inside the heart is the location where we experience our I. And so Brahman will be experienced there only. But if the mind goes to some object, wherever the mind goes, it is only Brahman there. So the mind is fixed now. Mind refuses to go actually. In the saints of Maharashtra, there is a popular song, and that is, I will quote the line in Marathi and then translate. आता कोठे धावे मन तुझे चरण देखी लिया. Having seen your feet, that means having seen a glimpse of Brahman, where will my mind go? The mind refuses to go anywhere because it has seen Brahman. So, because Brahman is everywhere, by this vision, by this attitude, by this perspective, let the mind be fixed in the thought of Brahman. Let the mind be fixed not at a particular spot. Let the mind be fixed in the heart in a way. Let the mind be fixed in the thought of Brahman, because everything is Brahman. That is the dharana. Dharana sa paramata. That means he accepts dharana of 2-3 types. Dharana means concept, that is already there. Dharana means fixing to a particular spot, that is Patanjali's. Dharana para, the real absolute dharana is this, that know that everything is Brahman, and so the mind does not go here and there. That is the real fixing of the mind. Supreme, para means supreme fixing of the mind is that where the mind does not go anywhere. You don't have to apply any will. You have to apply, you have applied the knowledge that everything is Brahman. And so the mind refuses to go here and there. Mind stays in the thought of Brahman, in the feeling of Brahman, in the experience of Brahman. That is dharana. Now, dhyan. Brahmaivasmiti sadvrutya निरालंबतया स्थिति ध्यान शब्देन विख्याता परमानंददायिनी. Dhyan. Nididhasan is going on. Along with that, we have been asked to practice dhyan. So what is dhyan? The feeling that the way of the mind is Brahman itself is I. Remember the terminology. It does not say I am Brahman. Brahman concept has already come. That is what I am. Brahman is the only thing which I can feel as I. Brahma itself, eva, asmi. Am word is not there, not necessary. In Sanskrit, asmi means I am. So Brahman itself is I am. This is the real vritti, sadvritti. The good vritti or the real vritti, vritti means way of the mind. Because aham brahmasmi or brahmavasmi is still a wave. Nididhasan will be over when all the waves go away. But now it is a wave. But the wave has taken this form. Brahman is the only thing which I call as I. This is the good wave or real wave. And then Niralamba Dayasthiti. Niralamba means ordinary meditation by people, it is contrasted now. In ordinary meditation, we are asked, meditate on your Ishta Devata, meditate on this, meditate on that. Niralamba, we are not taking anything as ashraya. We are not taking alamban or the support for our mind. Why? Because the mind is thinking of Brahman. Because not thinking. Because the mind has come to this position that Brahman itself is I am. That is the wave of the mind. This wave does not like to have any other support. The wave has already Brahman as its support. No other support is there. That is real dhyana. That is real dhyana. Not thinking of some object. They are all preliminary things. So, this is aparokshanubhuti, mind you. We are going to reach the state where immediate experience of Brahman is there. And so, the vritti of the mind is that Brahman only is I, and so it does not require any other support. It stays like that. Niralambataya sthiti is called, this is famous as dhyana. By the word dhyana, dhyana shabdena vikhyata, this is the known among the Vedantis, you can add as the dhyana. And Paramananda Dayini. Paramananda, because this experience that Brahman itself is I, is the maximum joy in life. Here we can understand in Taittiriya Upanishad, in Aparokshanubhuti, we have seen that 5 sheaths are told, 5 feelings of Atman are told. I am the body. Then we understand I am not the body, I am living in the body. So the body becomes a sheath, kosha. I am the Indriyas. Then I understand I am not the Indriyas. I am using Indriyas as my object. So the Indriyas become another sheath inside. Then I am the mind. But then we understand I am the I consciousness. So the mind becomes a sheath. Now, this I consciousness is the start of spiritual experience. And this I consciousness wants to know its source. For that, it turns inside, does not go to the mind or indriyas or body. This turns inside and finds God as its source, finds Brahman as the source of I consciousness. I consciousness is the shadow or reflection of that Brahman. Immediately, what comes is Ananda. And this Ananda grows and grows and grows, and then this I becomes merged in Brahman. So, Paramananda Dayini, real dhyan means feeling that Brahman is I. Now realization not yet come, but I has become joined in a way to Brahman. I has become known as, Brahman has become known as I. This I has gone. This I today which we feel has gone. Brahman is felt as I. This is supreme joy. And this supreme joy is going to culminate in full realization. So, this dhyana in Vedanta is Paramananda Dayini Vritti. Wave is still there, mind is functioning. In what way? Brahman itself is I am. That is the reflection of Brahman in our chitta. We have seen that. Because of the perfect reflection of Brahman in chitta, seeing our own face in a mirror, we know this is our mirror, my face. So, this is the clear reflection of Brahman in my chitta. And so, I feel that is what I am. And this gives tremendous joy. Paramananda Dayini. If somebody tries to meditate willfully, we see on his face how much strain he has for dhyana. That is not dhyana. There is a prasanga in the great master. Some new boy has come and he is telling Sadhan Swamiji, his friend Atul, he is telling Atul that I have visited several people telling me they are in Samadhi or Dhyan, and I saw distorted faces. So I was getting disgusted for those things. But now I see in Sri Krishna what serene face he has. So Dhyan is always full of blessedness, and that is Dhyan. Now, what is Samadhi? निर्विकारतया वृत्त्या ब्रह्माकारतया पुनः वृत्ति विस्मरणं सम्यक समाधिर्ज्ञान संज्ञका. समाधिर्ज्ञान संज्ञका. Samadhi is not full concentration, which Patanjali tells. Samadhi is not full absorption, which normally we think. Samadhi is knowledge. Samadhi, other name of Samadhi is Jnana, knowledge. Now, what the knowledge comes? The vritti has become nirvikar. That means no modification. That vritti has lost itself. Vritti, as my Guruji used to describe, becomes a flash, and the two poles are gone. Brahman is myself. This is a vritti. But then I and that reflection both are gone, and we get only Brahman. So that is called nirvikara or brahmakara. Vritti becomes nirvikara without any modification, or it becomes of the shape of Brahman itself. And then vritti vismaranam. Vritti becomes without any second. Process is being told between dhyana and samadhi. In dhyana, vritti is there. Now, in the beginning, vritti is there, but no other thing. That is nirvikara vritti. And then the vritti has taken the form of Brahman. So, brahmakara vritti. And when this happens, the vritti itself goes away. Vritti vismaranam. Vismaranam is not forgetfulness. Vritti has gone from the mind. So, like forgetfulness, there is no word for that. So, vritti vismaranam samyak. The real vismaranam. Not forgetting. Not forgetting vritti and coming back to the word. That is not forgetting. But vritti vanishes. Real forgetfulness, that means real absence of vritti is experienced. Samadhi is, the other name of samadhi is knowledge. So in Vedanta, the word samadhi is knowledge. And that is what he says, that here you have reached the goal. This is the 8th step, 15th step, according to Shankara. Now, this has to become permanent. So these 15 steps, along with Nididhasan, have to be practiced and practiced and practiced till it becomes final. Imam cha akrutrimanandam tavat sadhu samabhyaset vasho yavat kshanat punsa prayukta san bhavet swayam. Till what time you have to practice? Till that time when in a moment you can do this. That is the definition. Till that time when it has become so natural to you that the moment you think, the mind goes into samadhi. Till then you have to practice. And this is ankrutrima anandam, non-artificial joy. Artificial joy means subject touching the object, a momentary joy like comes, that is artificial joy. And non-artificial joy, negatively expressed to make it strong, is this, where in a way, I is touching Brahman, in a way, I is getting merged or lost in Brahman. So that is the non-artificial joy. Sadhu means good man, or here you may say sadhak. Tavat samabhyaset, he practices it till then. Nididhasan, along with this samadhi, is practiced till then. Vasho yavat kshanat punsa. Punsa, the man who is making effort, in a moment, immediately the mind comes back and goes into samadhi. Up to this, You have to practice. Prayukta san bhavet swayam. As soon as we applied the mind to Brahman, it goes into Brahman. That should be the natural state of the man of realization. Again and again he has practiced samadhi to such an extent that the moment he calls the mind back, he is going to do samadhi. Up till that you practice. And then important shloka is coming. Up to that point, not that whole life you have to do it. Not at all. Again, comparatively, in Patanjali Yoga, you have to always control the mind. Here, tata sadhana nirmukta siddho bhavati yogirat tat swarupam na chaitasya vishayo manaso giram. Then he becomes free of any sadhana. You practice and practice till it becomes fully, in a flash you reach that, then you have no more to practice. It has become your nature. Yogi or the sadhak has become Yogirat, king among the sadhakas. Also become perfect, Siddha. Yogi becomes Yogirat or Siddha. He becomes free from all sadhanas. You need not worry then. And that is his own nature. Tat swarupam cha etasya. That is the very nature of sadhak which he has attained. So very nature is realized, so he is free from all sadhanas, and that is not the subject of mind or vani. He has gone beyond mind, the duality created by mind. It has gone beyond the description possible. That is not the subject of vani or mind. Such a thing he has reached. So, that is his very nature. Mind does not reach there. Mind is external. It does not reach there. Vani does not reach there. Absolute realization has taken place. He has become free from any sadhana. But in the sense, a straight course is being described. But it does not happen like that. Within the straight course, we have some obstacles come. So the way to describe is like this. Steps are told, and you have to practice this till you reach perfection, that has been told. And then we are told that in between, in the way, some obstructions will come. And how to deal with them also has to be told. That is the next topic now. A smooth transition has been described, but that does not happen like that. Samadho kriyamane tu vignani ayanti vai balat. Anusandhana rahityam alasyam bhogalalasam layastamaschа vikshepo rasasvadascha shunyata evam yad vigna bahulyam tyajyam brahmavida shanaihi. How many obstacles? Samadho kriyamane tu. When we are trying to practice samadhi, balat, by force, some obstacles come. Balat means in spite of our effort, some obstacles come. Then he is describing the obstacles. Anusandhana rahityam. That means our search for Brahman stops suddenly. Suddenly our effort stops. We have to understand this is an obstacle and attempt again and go forward. That is the automatic. But we have been warned that a state comes when your effort suddenly, without your doing something, the effort suddenly stops. Anusandhana rahityam, alasyam. Sometimes a laziness of the mind, and this stage, mind has to make full effort, tivra effort to go. But it becomes slack, laziness. That also you have to conquer by continuously pressing. Finally, as told, you become free from sadhana. But before you become that, these are the obstructions to be overridden or transcended. Bhogalalasam. The deepest sanskaras of bhoga are there. And before we reach samadhi, suddenly the mind will try to go to objects. Process has been told. Think that it is Brahman, withdraw it, all that has been told. But now warning is been given that without your awareness, suddenly these obstructions will come. One of them is bhoga lalasa. Lalasa means a proneness to bhoga. Know that. Then laya. This is a dangerous obstruction. In yoga, it is praised very much as yoga laya. No. If the mind vanishes, if I vanish, it is not fully reaching the goal. I should not be lost till you reach the goal. Mind should not be allowed to sleep till you go to the goal. And so, Gaudpadji tells us in Gaudpad Karika, as Vikshepa is an obstacle, so lay is an obstacle. As mind being distracted is an obstacle, mind going to sleep is an obstacle. It is not mind has stopped. It is not mind is alasi. Mind has simply slept. So layam. And Gaudpad says, lay sambodhaya chittam. Wake yourself. Wake yourself. Continue sadhana till it is lost in Brahman. Tamascha, a sort of darkness comes. Dark night of the soul, they say last night. So suddenly we enter a place where all is dark. But you have to sustain yourself, continue practice, overcome that. So vikshepa. Vikshepa means distraction. It is not bhoga proneness, but the mind becomes distracted, unable to concentrate. Mind tries to run here and there, not for enjoyment, but simply chanchalata of the mind till we reach the goal. It becomes restless. That should be stopped. Then last. No, two more are there. Rasaswada. Rasaswada means, I told you, so much joy is coming. But don't try to enjoy that joy. Let joy become your nature. Let yourself become joy. But joy comes as in deep sleep. So, union with God gives tremendous joy. But if you try to enjoy, you are again becoming subject and joy becoming the object. So this rasaswada has to be transcended, avoided. Don't try to become an enjoyer, not of the objects, but of the joy which is coming due to union with God. That is called rasaswada. And then shunyata. What I am experiencing? Nothing, zero. That is an obstacle. You have to experience the oneness, the abheda between yourself and the object of meditation, which is Brahman. That you have to experience Brahman. Because some people do think that Shunya is there. No. A state comes in life, in meditation, without your awareness, that you are experiencing zero. But that is an obstacle. What is the upaya? Nowhere here upayas are mentioned. Because that has to be transcended by continuous practice. That is what he means. Shunyata. This is the Vigna Bahulya. Anusandhana Rahitya, Alasya, Bhogalalasa, Layaha, Tamaha, Vikshepa, Prasaswada, Shunyata. 8 obstacles he has counted. Evam yad Vigna Bahulyam. In this way, the many Vignas come. Tyajyam Brahma Vida Shanai. That means if you continue practice slowly, gradually, step by step, they will go.
Maharaj, I have one question. Can I ask?
Yes, please.
You just said that Shunyata is an obstacle, but there in a song described by Swamiji,
That is a wrong statement. I understood your question. Many people have described wrongly that Swami Vivekananda experienced zero. Nowhere. And I will tell you the confusion. There was another Swami. Swamiji, he took inspiration from Swamiji, and that is Swami Ramatirtha. And Ramatirtha Swami has given lectures on zero. And Ramatirtha Swami had experienced zero. He had transcended that also. Swami Vivekananda's life, there is no zero. So, in some books, it is wrongly mentioned. I understood your question.
Swamiji, one song in
some books, it is absolutely wrongly mentioned. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not zero. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is bhava. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the more, because it is infinite. So, it is cannot be described in words. It is infinite bhava. Positive, most positive thing in life is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Absence of world, absence of subject-object split does not mean nothing is there. It means the absolute reality is there. So Shunyata is experienced by some people, and here it is being, for that sake, the obstacles are being described for that very sake. People get lost in layer, people get lost in so many things. So it is being told the Shunyata will come, but it is not the ultimate. You have to transcend it. Shunyata may come on the way, may come. These vignas are may come. But step by step you have to go beyond. So Shunyata can never be the final conclusion. Shunyata may come, but we have to transcend it. Okay?
But I think she is asking.
In a song, Swami Vivekananda said, "Shunne shunne milailo." Exactly. Swami Vivekananda, in a song of he describes the state of samadhi in a song. There he mentions "Shunne shunno milailo."
Oh, that's Shunya.
Yeah.
You are mixing up totally mixing up. Because the Shunya people experience, so I started explaining like that. Shunya milailo. Oh, you are okay. I go back to that. You see, Swamiji has described his experience of samadhi. Okay. First of all, he says everything became a shadow. That is the first step, na? Then all the shadows vanished in one current, and that is Ami iti anekhan. So continuously, I am only remained. Everything vanished. Then that also stopped. Our question comes, if that stopped, how did it go? Where did it go? We are told it was zero, so it went to zero. Shunya milailo. Because it was zero, it entered zero. Where did I go? I went into zero. Not that samadhi went into zero. Not that the man went into zero, is I went into zero. Because I was zero, so it went into zero. Because I was unreal, so it went into Harish. And then what remained? Shunya milailo is not the end. Avang manasa gocharam. What remained cannot be told by mind and vocal language. Boje pran boje jan. That means intellectual understanding is impossible. He only understands who has realized. Pran is used here for heart. Pran is used here for the ultimate realization. Boje, while singing we make sometimes mistake. Boje pran boje ja. Boje pran boje ja. He only understands whose heart understands. He only understands who has realized it. So, Shunya milailo does not mean he is experiencing Shunya. His I was zero, so it went into zero. Because he says that dhara also stopped. So our question comes, how can that dhara stop? Where has that I gone? So the reply is I was zero, so it went into zero. Understood?
That Asmita went into zero.
Okay. So Swamiji's Samadhi poem starts with telling that everything became shadow. Then all the shadow entered into one wave, and that wave is I am. And that wave also stopped. When you say the wave stopped, where did I go? I was zero, so it went to zero. then what remained cannot be told by body, by Vani and mind. And he only can understand who has realized. That is very important thing you reminded. I am telling, intellectual understanding can never happen of full nature of the reality. So he only understands who realized. Till then nobody understands. We understand approximately. Intellectual understanding is always approximate. The final understanding is only in the realization. Okay? That is the full statement. Now, so these obstacles are Shunya experience. I am experiencing Shunya. There I itself was Shunya, so it went away. Here I am experiencing Shunya is an obstacle. You have to transcend that. That
Thank you,
also
Maharaj.
some people take it as final. That is wrong.
No, okay. Thank you.
Now he is describing further. This very thing, Shunya as an obstacle is again being taken up. Bhava vruttya hi bhavatvam, Shunya vruttya hi shunyata, Brahma vruttya hi purnatvam, Tatha purnatvam abhyaset. Bhava vruttya. You know bhavas? I am God's son, I am God is my father, mother. These are called bhavas. And if the mind takes bhava vritti, then bhavatva you will attain. If you have shunya vritti, shunyatva will attain. We don't want that. Brahma vritti is there, then you will become Brahma, Purna. So, Purnatvam abhyaset, practice for Brahma vritti, practice for Purnatva, not for some bhava. Bhava may be a step. Through bhava we may go. But don't stop at some bhava. Don't stop at zero, don't stop at bhava. And stop only when you get fullness, which is Brahman. Okay? Now, this Brahmakara Vritti is being praised. Brahmakara Vritti, which lead us to Brahmajnan, is being praised. Yehi vrittim jahattenam brahmakhyam pavanim param vrutaiva tu jivanti pashubhishya samanara. Very strong words he is using now. This Brahma Vritti is most important. Those who give up this Brahma Vritti without reaching the final, they are giving up Brahma Vritti. And it is called Param Pavanim. The supreme purifier is this Brahma Vritti. Name of the Vritti is Brahman. So Brahma Vritti, their life is in vain. They being men are like animals. Those who having reached Brahma Vritti give it up, or those who do not try for that are animals, even if they appear to be men. Such a strong condemnation he gives. Yehi vrittim vijananti jnatvapi vardhayanti ye te vai satpurusha dhanya vandyaste bhuvanatre. One who experiences vijanati vrittim and having known that, make it grow. This vritti has to grow and reach perfection, then that samadhi comes. This vritti requires growth and culmination. So, those who have the vritti and do not stop there, those who have vritti and do not give it up, those who have vritti and try to make it grow, they are the real good Purushas. They are blessed. They are Vandya, Bhuvanatre. They are to be worshipped in all the three words. So by contrast, he is praising those who not only retain the vritti, retaining the vritti is not the work, but giving up the vritti is dangerous. Retain the vritti, make it grow, make it perfect, let it vanish into Brahman. Yesham vritti sama vritta paripakva cha sa punah te vai sadbrahmatam prapta netare shabdavadina. Here the word paripakva has come. Vritti has to become fully ripe. Those whose vritti is sama, first continuous, that is called sama. Vruddha, old, that means it is staying for a long time, paripakvacha, and has become fulfilled. Sa puna, puna means again. Sama, vruddha, and then paripakva. They have realized Brahman. Sad Brahmatam Prapta. They have achieved Sad Brahmata, not the other Shabdavadina. Like me or like anybody. They can discourse on Brahman. Or they can say Brahma, Brahma, Brahma. That will not give them Brahman. Those who have Advaita Vritti, make it grow, make it perfect, they only are realize Brahman, not those who talk about Brahman. No, those who talk about Brahman, like myself, some condemnation. No, it is always good to have a joke on oneself or criticize oneself. Kushala Brahma Vartayam Vrittihina Suragina Tepi Ajnanataya Nunam Punarayanti Yanti Cha Brahma Vartayam Kushala. Expert in talking about Brahman, but do not have the vritti. Then what they are suragina? They are nicely attached to the world. Due to nice attachment to the world, they do not have the vritti. They can talk about Brahman well. They also agyanataya. They are still in ignorance or wrong knowledge, and the result is that going and coming. Birth and rebirth and death is their lot. Those who can talk well, we have seen, including myself, hundreds of people can talk on Brahman. Excuse me, I'm just joking. Nimeshardham na tishtanti vrittim brahmamayim vina yatha tishtanti brahmadya sanakadya shukadaya. He is giving brilliant examples. Even for half a moment, they do not stay without the Brahma Vritti. That means they are behaving with us, they are talking, always their Brahma Vritti is continuing. They are seeing Brahman everywhere, inside, outside. So Brahma Vritti is continuous. And in between they may enter Samadhi. Once having entered Samadhi, their mind has come to a state where always they have Brahma Vritti. An example is Brahma. Brahma is the originator of all knowledge. Sanakadya. Brahmadya means people like Brahman. Sanakadya means 4 rishis are famous. Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumar, and Sanatana. So they are always immersed in Brahman. Shukadaya. Shuka is called Paramahansa. So people like Shuka, people like Sanaka, people like Brahma, they are always, after having realized God, they do not come to the ignorance field. They always retain the Brahma Vritti. For a moment also, they do not lose it. Now a little philosophy at this point. How to retain this Brahma Vritti? Karyam karanata yata karane nahi karyata karanatvam tato gachet karya bhave vicharata. Place of thinking, right from the beginners to everybody, to these people also. Karya means effect, word. Karanata yata, it has gone into Brahman, the cause. Karane nahi karyata. When you reach Brahman, don't see world again. The effect goes into cause. Cause does not again return the effect. So, karanatvam tato gachet. Always think of Brahman only. Karya bhave vicharata. By thought, karya is abhav. Karya is zero, if you like. Karya is abhav. Karan is real. Karya, in your meditation, karya has merged or vanished into Karan. Again, don't try to see karya there. think of Karan only, and by thought, by analysis, Karya is abhav. Karya does not exist. This is again not like Patanjali, Prakriti is separate, I am separate. Prakriti has vanished. Atha shuddham bhaved vastu yadvai vacham agocharam drashtavyam mrudghate naiva drishtantena punah punah. Another practice. Upadan Karan again. As clay becomes jar. Don't think of the jar. Think of the jar as clay always. So, that is beyond Vani. That is the pure Vastu. The pure existence has come to you now by your pravilap of everything else into Brahman. Always think of the Drishtanta that clay appears as jar. Again and again think that the world is nothing but Brahman. The world is nothing but Brahman. Anenaiva prakareణ vrittir brahmatmika bhavet.
Udati satatitrata vritagyanam tataparam.
This is the way when brahmatmika vritti comes. By thinking that the world is nothing but an appearance of Brahman, in this way you reach the brahmatmika vritti. Now is independently telling because Brahma vritti has to be rated. So how the process, all this process is telling again in a different perspective that all the effects are nothing but the cause. Cause, don't see effects in the cause. Always think of the cause. Cause, let the causes vanish. In this way only, Brahmatmika vritti comes to those whose minds have been purified. And that is the supreme vritti gyan, after which you have to add the nirvikar samadhi comes. Karanam vyatirekena puman adau vilokayet anvayena punastadhi karye nityam prapashyati. Anvaya vyatirek is a type of logic. Here we are not interested in logic, and we are actually interested in the experience. Karanam vyatirekena karyam nasti. Imagine if Brahman is not there, there is no world. When the world is appearing, it is only Brahman. That is Anvaya. Anvaya means one following the other. Vyatirek means in that absence, this is also absent. In two ways of thinking is there. If this is absent, that also is absent, is called Vyatirek. If that is present, this is also present, is called Anvaya. In both ways, think of the identity of the world with Brahman. If Brahman is not there, imagine the world would not have been there. Adu, first think like that. And then think that this Brahman itself is the world. So first negation, Brahman you have not been able to see, the world is not there. And you have seen Brahman, then the whole world is Brahman. So Anvayena Nityam Prapashyati. Then it becomes permanent. Again, Karyehi Karanam Pashyet, Pashyat Karyam Visarjayet, Karanatvam Tato Gachet Avashishtam Bhaved Muni. So when you see the world, see Brahman there. And by seeing Brahman, let the world go. When you see the world, see Brahman there, and by this way, let the world go. Then you become identified with Brahman. Karanatvam tato gachet. Avashishtam bhaved muni. Avashishtam means what remains? When the karya goes away, what remains? Brahman. And that you become muni. A right thinker man, through thinking, same process has been described, that karya becomes karan, karya vanishes, you become that karan. In this way, realization takes place. Still that Nididhasan topic is continued. Bhavitam tivra vege na yad vastu nishchay atmana kumas taddi bhave chigram geyam Brahmar Kitavat, an example. There is an insect and it is always afraid, mortally afraid of the bee. And so it continuously thinks of the bee and becomes bee. By continuously thinking of the bee in fear, that insect becomes bee. But this example is telling, if you continuously think not word, na? Think word we use bhavitam, bhava, feeling. If you continuously have the feeling, intensely, tivra vegena, vastu nishayatmana, by this nishay, that causes only the effect is not there, continuously you are feeling Brahman. Umas tadvi bhavet shigra. You become that. When the feeling grows, it is not emotional. It is by the removal of the effect, you are feeling the cause, and by intense feeling, you become that. As the Kita becomes Brahman. Adrishyam bhavarupascha sarvamaeva chidatmakam savadhanataya nityam swatmanam bhavayet Buddha. The word bhavayet is important everywhere. Bhavayet represents feeling, not thought. Buddha. Buddha means the wise man. Adrishyam, invisible. Bhavarupasya, invisible, visible, and everything else as his own self. Visible things, that means gross things, are myself. That which I do not see, subtle thing, that is also myself. All this is nothing but Chaitanya. Very carefully, one should feel like that. Always, he should think of himself. He should think of his real self by thinking that the gross world is nothing but myself, the subtle world is nothing but myself, my body is a shadow of myself, Indriyas are nothing but myself. In this way, always the wise man should think. Drishyam hi adrishyatam nitva brahma karena chintayet vidwan nitya sukhe tishte dhya vidchid rasa purnaya. Whatever we see, he should make it vanish. That this world is unreal, it is only Brahman. So, taking this world into non-seeable, taking this world into non-existence, think of it as Brahman. Two steps. Brahman is thought, world is thought as unreal, then world is thought as Brahman. World, if it remains, it cannot be Brahman. So the forms vanish and Brahman remains. In this way, chintaya. Now the thinking has come. Up till now, feeling was there. Now he says, think like that. And the Vidwan Nitya Sukhe Tishte. He stays in the permanent happiness. How? Dhiya Buddhi Chid Rasa Purnaya. Chid Rasa. Chit is Chaitanya, Rasa is the source of bliss. So his consciousness, Buddhi here means the consciousness, becomes filled with Chaitanya and bliss. In this way, he should always remain. Now he comes to conclusion with some names. Evirangai sama yukto raja yoga udarita kinchit pakva kashayanam hatha yogena sanyuta. I had mentioned it yesterday that this Shankaracharya calls as Raja Yoga. The Vedantic sadhana, where Nididhyasana is practiced, along with 15 steps filled with Advaita, removing the obstacles, feeling properly, thinking properly, this he calls as Raja Yoga, Yoganam Raja. And what Patanjali is telling us, their will is applied. So it is said, Raja Yoga has been described which constitutes of these 15 steps. Those whose purification is not complete. Kinchit pakva kashayana. Kashaya means impurity. Little they have been removed, fully they are not gone. They should practice Hatha Yoga. That means Patanjali Yoga. So the terminology is applied. Vedantic sadhana itself is called Raja Yoga and the other is Hatha Yoga. Shankar is not prescribing the so-called Hatha Yoga. The Shadanga Yoga is never prescribing. Patanjali Yoga is terming as Hatha Yoga because will is used there. And when it is to be used, it is also useful, he accepts. When your mind is not fully purified, use that. But if your mind becomes fully purified, in the way he has described, by right thinking, right feeling, right experiencing, if your mind is fully purified, Raj Yoga is enough. Vedanta is enough. Yes, please. Anyway. But if you are... Yes, please. Yes, somebody is trying to tell something. Anyway, let us hear. If your mind is not fully purified, you can practice Patanjali Yoga. If your mind is fully purified, this practice of Vedanta is enough. He is again repeating. Paripakvam mano yesham kevaloyam cha siddhida Guru Daivata Bhakta Nam Sarvesham Sulabho Java. He has ended very beautifully. He says, those whose mind is fully pure, this is enough. This much will give them perfection. The Vedantic practice, those whose mind is fully purified, how to purify, he has told in second, third mantra. Shloka, you remember? Do your practice, do your tapasya, let God be pleased, he will give you the right adhikar, then follow this Vedantic thinking and feeling. In this way, those who practice, this is sufficient. Only this is sufficient. You need not go to Raja Yoga, so-called Raja Yoga. This is Raja Yoga. You practice this is sufficient. And then, last statement. It is an imitation or following Shveta Upanishad. Here I would like to mention, I have not referred to the translation always. This Vimuktanji's translation I am having, this has to be modified in one place here. Guru Daivata Bhakta Nam. Has he differentiated between Guru and Bhakta? In the translation, implicit faith in Guru and devotion to God. Why separate? Shveta Upanishad has told us very important point of spiritual life. Adhikar of real adhikar. Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyate kathitai artha prakashante mahatmana. Kathitai artha means words convey some meaning. And that meaning should enter as experience in our heart. That is prakashante. They become revealed or they become shining. They become experienced. Who? One who is supremely devoted to God. Parabhakti for God. And as per God, same for Guru. Because through Guru is nothing but God. That also we have seen here. Guru is a form in which God is teaching us. That is Guru. Not that anyway. So Guru stands for Guru Shakti. You read Leela Prasanga if you like. Guru Shakti is God Shakti. So, as you have devotion to Parabhakti for God, same Parabhakti you should have for Guru. That very thing is referred here. If you see what ends through Bhakti. We started through Bhakti, ending is again through Bhakti. He tells that if this is difficult and all that he has described, if you are supremely devoted to God and supremely devoted to Guru, then it is easy for you. Then it is not difficult. Guru Daivata Bhaktanam Sarvesham, all the people who are devoted to Guru and God, Sulabho Javad. Quickly it is easy. Javad, quickly, Sulabho, easy. For those, so if devotion is supreme, all these steps will come easily to you. That is what is guaranteed. A wonderful conclusion is started from supreme devotion, Sri Harim Paramanandam, and he ends by telling, in between he told that without grace of God nothing comes. Even the adhikar comes by the grace of God. And now he tells that if you are supremely devoted to God and the same devotion to your Guru through whom the knowledge has come to you, then it is easy and quick for you. That is how he has written. So, we had happily, reading has been ended of Aparukshanubhuti. We have not yet reached Aparukshanubhuti. Let us hope to reach that. We can read it again and again and try to follow the steps through Guru Devata Bhakti. Then we need not go to Patanjali's Yoga. If we are not fully purified, we shall take the help of that also. He has allowed that. But if we go through this Supreme Bhakti and we all follow all these steps, we will be reaching what? Aparokshanubhuti, immediate awareness of Brahman. That is what we will achieve. So, as on the chat you have been announced and we talked also last time, from the next week, we'll take up another beautiful text by Shankaracharya called Atma Bodha. So, and one more, those who are following the chat, tomorrow I have a special lecture. Some of you might be remembered that I had a lecture on mind and its control by one Vivekananda Society of JNU. They have organized another lecture tomorrow. Here the link, etc. is given. And that is on Introduction to Upanishads. Introduction to Upanishads as a whole. Tomorrow, same time, 5:30, the link is given. I have sent the link to many by WhatsApp and email, and here they have given today. So remember that, and let us conclude this. Om Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtarameshwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanam.